Okay, so the first question comes from John Jitsu from on Instagram. His question was about just dealing with injuries in general. So when you train jiu-jitsu, injuries is just part of the game, but it's super common. So that's why I find it really important to have different training modalities that you have, right? So I kind of break jiu-jitsu down to there's like five main aspects to your performance, right? It's like your technical skill, your strength, your mobility, your cardio or endurance, which is kind of a broad topic because there's like muscle endurance and there's like your heart and there's like different energy systems. But I just loosely call it endurance, right? And then your flexibility, right? So strength, endurance, cardio, technique, and flexibility, those five, right? So our job when we're getting good at jiu-jitsu is to try to, my priority is always develop maximizing your technique, right? Because like I've just had so many injuries over the years where had times where I got like super strong from lifting and stuff, and then I have an injury. Like I just had a shoulder surgery recently, right? So then you lose a lot of that strength, and of course you can like get it back quicker than before, but those things are always changing. But your technical knowledge stays the same. So what I always try to focus on when I'm injured is like finding a position that I can work on that doesn't aggravate the injury, right? Of course, sometimes you have an injury so bad, like if you completely tore your ACL and you can't even stand, like sometimes it's really difficult, right? Then I would say more probably watching like competition footage and stuff. But if it's more of like just kind of a general injury or like a lower level injury, like say you got put in a really bad ankle lock, right? And then your foot's messed up for a few weeks. Or it could be like, strain your shoulder or like hurt your elbow really bad. Things like that. Generally, you can find a position that doesn't aggravate it. Like, so for example, right now my right shoulder has been hurt a lot. So I've been working collar sleeve on the left side a lot, right? Because I can put weight on the left shoulder, but I couldn't put weight on the right shoulder. And as long as you kind of do the specific training model that I like to do when I train, which is where you kind of break things down into like these separate mini positions that you can develop on, it's often that you can kind of find a position that you can get real sparring in, because that's one of the most important things is like you have to have, when you're developing a position, like you can't just lightly drill, right? You need to have that resistance to really be developing the pattern recognition. So to me, it's better that you, rather than like light drill stuff, it's better that you find a position that doesn't aggravate your injury. And then you get some specific sparring in there, right? And of course, you can scale it and ease into it and find an intensity level that works for you. But I've had many times that I had a really bad injury. I know at one point I had a bad back injury. And then I was able to work on passing the underhook de la Hiva. And I spent like 2 hours trying to find the perfect position to get my knee to try to make the guy have to release that underhook de la Hiva grip. But after like 2 hours of messing around, I actually found a really interesting way where I could pull my foot back and break the position that worked out for me. And it took me 2 hours to find. And my thought process is it may have taken 2 hours to find that detail, but if it takes 2 hours, it takes 2 hours, right? So to me, that's 2 hours efficiently spent because I did need to figure out that detail on how to break that position. So I think a lot of times when I have injuries, I end up developing more in some ways because I have to isolate positions or work on things I normally wouldn't. So yeah, I would say if you have an injury, just try to find a position that doesn't bug it so much and just try to go really deep on that position for a duration of time until you get to a point that you're healed up enough that you can switch back to the other stuff, right? But then after that point, you will have developed that other skill set and that's always going to be there for you.